Okay, so welcome to Nakano. Today we're going to do a small interview because we have a lovely customer here today who has been inspiring us a lot at the shop, especially regarding how she's using her traveler's notebooks. And she's been doing the artist way, which a lot of customers are very curious about. So yeah, welcome to Nakano.
Thank you so much.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, my name is Níka and I've been living in Iceland for about 3 years. I'm a visual artist, interdisciplinary artist, and I just fell in love with this store and it's been a big part of my artist way journey.
Okay. Yes, so we are actually have been meeting her here in the shop and following you on Instagram. And we've been so inspired how you're using Traveler's Notebook to do the artist way. So would you like to tell us a little bit what part of Traveler's Notebook you're using for the artist way?
Yes, so I'm using the passport size notebooks, but I'm actually not using the big cover for it. I do have a whole setup of the big size traveler's notebooks, but the one I chose for the morning pages, I wanted to focus on the size because as some of you might know, the book recommends to write down 3 A4 pages for each morning page, which I customize to my own preference with a smaller size so that the task does not seem as big. And I wanted to have I wanted to find enjoyment in the whole universe, this whole notebook ecosystem that I have already built with traveler's notebooks. So I wanted that to be a part of it, and I went for the passport size, which is easy to carry and less overwhelming to write 3 pages off.
That's great. Also because so like the traveler's notebook, they have like inserts and then they have leather covers, and we often like recommend like you don't need to start so big. You can just start with the little notebooks, and yeah, that's really nice to hear. But I just wanted to ask you like a little bit like how it all started and how your journey has been in this process. So what was the reason, like what first drew you to making the artist way?
So the artist way in general, that's for those who maybe don't know, it's a workbook designed for those who feel in a way creatively stuck, maybe blocked. And for me, that was not really the case. The ideas were not the problem. It was the taking the action with the idea and completing the idea. And so I was sort of looking for a form of structure, support, a community that would help me I wanted to blindly trust something that would help me along the way of changing that about myself and about my practice, taking action in an easier way.
So before you started this process, like what was your creative output? Like what do you enjoy doing creatively? I've seen just from your Instagram and when you're here with us, you're a very creative person. But are you writing? Are you drawing? Are you making? Like, what's your favorite art form before? If I can say, like, what was your goal?
So before it was always photography and video, as well as textiles. And then I had a little bit of a change and I went more into writing. I was always writing, but this was to write on paper again it's a different experience. So I went more into writing, ink painting.
What were you hoping to do more of, maybe?
All right. So I was hoping to post more online actually, and to share more of my writing, more of my insights. And I think there's a lot that comes in the way between you having a thought and then creating that object that you want to create and then releasing it for people to see.
Very true.
I wanted to post more, and I wanted to have a journaling practice because I was always journaling, but it was never didn't have that much of a structure before.
Yeah, thanks. So it's like making this ritual kind of into your routine.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, very good. So for those of you who don't know, the Artist Way is a book and it has chapters, and people are usually taking a chapter per a week or how is it? Could you tell us a little bit like how was the process and where are you in it right now?
Yes, so it's a 12-week program, and it's designed for each week to be exactly a week of 7 days, which for me, that was the first thing that kept me away from it for a very long time, because it felt really unrealistic. And it is unrealistic for me. And so I'm a big believer of adjusting, adjusting maybe advice or programs like this to your own life and to your own needs. And also a big fan of drastic change does not stick.
Yes, very true.
Yeah,
So that's like very, actually, so we have customers and our staff here who wanted to start the artist way, but they all maybe started reading it and they say like, for example, like we mentioned before or not, is that you have to write 3 A4 pages a day, and like first thing in the morning, like nothing else, just you go strictly to writing it. I think that's suggested in the book or something similar. Like I think it's so nice to hear that you have been quite flexible. And I am kind of person that also thinks like it's kind of important to have that. So is that what you think is helping you keep it going? Is that you're not as strict? For example, like this morning pages, how does that ritual look for you? Are you just waking up and directly doing it, or taking your time, go to a cafe, or yeah?
Yeah, so in the beginning, I was set on, well, first of all, when I heard about morning pages, it was one of those things that I kind of felt dismissive about. And the book mentions that. The book is very quite aware of the thoughts that pop up in our heads about these things. So I thought, okay, I'm already journaling. Why do I need to do it in the morning? I have a different practice. I do it at a different time, or so I was not excited at all about that part. And it was just one of the things that I was kind of looking critically at. And then I decided, okay, the book kind of encouraged to try and be present with observant of what changes. So in the beginning, I really did try. I knew I had to make it nice for myself, hence the Traveler's Notebook. And I knew I had to make it achievable and enjoyable, and something that felt like it's part of me. So in the beginning, I tried as much as I could to show myself that, okay, I'm committing without an expectation of completion, but more with the curiosity and observation. So in the beginning, I was doing it quite regularly in the morning, even crazy hours. If I had to be somewhere very, very early, I would wake up at 4 a.m. and do it. But I'm not doing that anymore, because that's a very important thing for me of that, is that you build a ritual enough so that when you skip a day or when you don't do it, it's not coming back to it anymore. It's just part of you. So you do not have the anxiety anymore of, oh, I dropped it, so it's not worth coming back. I'm a very big believer that you need to show yourself that no matter how much time passes, if this is something you want to do and it has or is becoming a part of you, you can always come back to it, or it just is that part of you. So no matter how much time has passed, you are doing it.
Yeah, so in the day, so it's kind of like become so specific part of your day, or like just a part of you that is almost like if you forgot to brush your teeth, or then you just do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, very good. So I think this is such a helpful thing to hear for our listeners. But is there something in this process that has like an insight that you can give us that has surprised you, or something you discovered about yourself, or about like this ritual of, or the creativity, or anything you can share with us?
Yes. So in one of the weeks, they encourage for you to write affirmations. And I noticed how in the very, very beginning, the mindset with affirmations I had was very much external. I was affirming or wanting things that are external, certain things I wanted to have or experience. And as I moved on, I kept going with affirmations. They do not tell you that you have to, but I that's how I built my morning pages, which is 2 pages are written stream of consciousness, and the 3rd page is almost always the affirmations. And I noticed how the affirmations change from external wanting into internal needs of how I would like to feel, which is, of course, if you want something externally, you're really wanting to feel a certain way. And I noticed how naturally that kind of unraveled that way, that instead of imagining a certain kind of house or art studio, I was imagining how I feel, that I feel inspired, I feel safe, or my art is beneficial for others.
Wow, that's a very like beautiful discovery. But I also wanted to ask you a lot because I see a lot on social media, these people taking themselves on artist dates. Could you tell us what is an artist date in a book?
Yeah, so an artist day was, again, one of those concepts that I felt dismissive about, but not for the reasons that most people might think. It's just that I felt that I was already doing that. And that was true. I do like spending time by myself. I am quite having ideas with creative ideas of enjoying my own time. That has not been a problem. But just the fact that, okay, it has to happen every week. No, you in that way, I wanted to dismiss it as if, oh, it's something I'm already doing, so it doesn't matter as much. Yeah, I think they're very, very beneficial to have in your mind, to do every week. And
I think that's so so lovely because I think a lot of people around us, and especially in this community around the shop, they want to spend more time not on their phone, for example, or a computer, and they're kind of looking at ways how they can spend their time like analog or you know, this kind of things. And I think especially like when I lived in Japan, so I lived in Japan in Tokyo, and I had this kind of period where I was transitioning between school and work, and I remember every Friday I made like 1 or 2 hours that I would always go do something like at a cafe drawing or take a lesson or something like that. And just this kind of thing is just so, how to say, give you something back. But it was uncomfortable at first. Like if you're trying it for first time to go out by yourself, it can be a little bit uncomfortable. But I always feel like taking a journal is like taking a friend. So you can definitely do that. But then maybe I think like I'm curious to hear like, so it sounds like it's a big impact, these morning pages and also this artist date. So is there anything that you like, if you had to pick one, which would be your favorite? Or
definitely morning pages, because as I said, Artist Day was already part of it. So I guess the book or the program kind of affirmed that as a something valid to do in a way. But morning pages have been that thing that was actually transformative for me, because it became, like I said, part of me, and it became this kind of a spiritual hygiene part. Like, yeah.
Amazing. I just realized I kind of forgot to ask you a very practical question, but where are you reading the book or getting access to it?
Yes, I actually have it on my Kindle, and I have it in this pouch. We made it with my mom, so it has an extra special meaning for me, because we used materials from my clothes, my mom's clothes, my grandmother's buttons, and then we made it together. And in that pouch, there's my Kindle, and there's the passport size notebooks, which one is for the morning pages, one is for the tasks. I also have the small pen and the highlighter.
So everything is in this one pouch, and then you can just grab it and get going. I think this is like a good advice for anyone who wants to keep some kind of journaling ritual, is to keep things in one place, but also to have it in such a special pouch. There's such a cute, like sweet meaning. That's very nice. So I wanted to ask you also, because you have this pouch, do you take it with you every day or everywhere you go?
Absolutely, yes. That's why it had to be that size. That's why it had to be passport size notebooks, because that fits to most of my bags, to most everywhere I go. So this is kind of like a water bottle in these days.
Oh, yes.
This is always with me.
Oh, it's so great. I think also because people sometimes they think the artist way they get a book, the physical book, but it's also available like on the Kindle app and other digital e-readers. So that's good. So do you feel like your creative routine in general has changed a lot before and after starting this process?
I feel that the biggest advantage is creating this analog space, like you said. I know it's romanticized these days a lot, but that is for a reason. I think it's a very interesting thing, because a lot of us, for example, we create our own ecosystems or our aesthetic world online on Instagram, for example, but that is always for other people to see. And creating your own notebook ecosystem or journal practice, that's only for you, and that is a safe space for you that you take care of and nurture, maybe like a garden. So I think having built that, it's become an essential tool, and also a resource of, for example, for writing, journaling every day. You don't always you almost never expect what's coming out, and then you are not. They do not encourage you reading the pages as you go along, or reading or sharing them with other people until week 8 or 9, if I believe, if I remember correctly. And I really enjoyed that, but I also avoided that for the longest time. I also want to point out that I absolutely take way more time per week than 1 week. Ideally, that is 2 weeks. Sometimes it was over a month. But I do believe I do need that time to process the things that the book is telling you about, and also to have that actual time of presence with it. So I think, that was the most beneficial for me when I actually got to rereading all of the morning pages that I've written so far, and finding things about myself that I maybe wouldn't have noticed otherwise.
I think that's amazing. It is also, so today with social media and everything, a lot of people feel like, okay, not a lot, but like especially me when I'm in this kind of job, like I have to share what I'm writing. But it's definitely true. Like you just make your own analog system, and it just sounds like you're in a good place and like with your items. But it's also like what I wanted to be a little bit about the tools you're using is that you writing in the small notebook, right?
Yes.
So do they fill out pretty quickly, or like how are you archiving them, or like how are you deciding that you're finished, or those kind of things?
Yes, so that's again why I chose the small size, so I could have this sense of accomplishment a little bit faster. So I think it's also less overwhelming than having a whole book and carrying that with yourself. So for me, that's very beneficial in all of my notebooks, with traveler's notebooks, because they have a limited amount of pages. You switch them out. It's always like a fresh set. And with the notebooks, I tend to have one for the morning pages, one for the tasks. Sometimes I have 2 of the morning pages because I like to go back, for example, look at the affirmations and choose maybe that's the one I'm using today as well. But I find that actually to be to the benefit of the creator.
I think what we're really learning from just discussing with you is that adjusting the system and like being kind to yourself, but keep going. So for example, when you're saying like because it's divided by weeks, it feels like you really intensely need to commit to 1 week. But just spreading it a little bit over, but keep it going. I think that's very good advice. And I was just wondering, because these days I'm always collecting quotations and stuff from the books I'm reading. Do you have any quotations? Or I remember I asked you, so do you have any quotes or anything you can share so we can get like a sense of the book?
Yes, and that's also why I love the concept of archiving the morning pages and not having it all with me, because it's like an actual, an archive, a time machine sort of to the things that I found interesting or valuable, or things I thought about. So I have 2 archive folders, and one of them, it's not decorated yet, but this one will be for the tasks. So this one has the most quotes in it. So for today, I noticed, where's that? Okay, I prepared 3 that I really liked, and I have to say that was also very easy for me, because I remembered, I put down the quotes that I like. I don't just highlight them in the Kindle app. I actually write them down here, so I have them in the context of what the theme of the week is, and I can kind of go back physically to the thought process and the excitement of that week that I had.
But don't you think, like also, like in general, because a lot of people are going analog, it's like, you can highlight in your Kindle, but it's something magical about writing that down, actually, a quote. It kind of sticks even more into your mind or consciousness when you actually write it down. So I think that's very interesting.
Yes, definitely. And I feel like also rewriting or copying a quote that you like, it's kind of giving it this extra respect. Of copying here in the physical world.
Okay, exciting.
Okay, so one of the quotes, and I'm just focusing on the quotes from the book itself, because the book is also sharing quotes from other people, which is really interesting. But one of the ones that I really liked is serious art is born from serious play, which I believe this is where it comes down to really enjoying the practice and then having something you enjoy to interact with and look at and play with, something that gives you the joy. And another one that really spoke to me, we always do the best that we can by the light we have to see by. So we do the best with what we have, obviously, but I really like the poetic twist on it. It kind of, the affairs. It's okay to do the best with what you have, which is for me translating to, it's okay to give yourself grace and adjust the process to what you need. If you can do it every week, that's amazing. But the book was also written in a different world, different time. Yes. Many years ago, so we do a lot of people do adjust it to their own needs of today,
because the book is written quite like 30-40 years ago or something like that, so in a different, more analog world. But yeah, great.
And the last quote I have here, a bit of a motivational side. What would I do if I didn't have to do it perfectly? A great deal more than I am. Which is again coming back to the grace and giving yourself time and adjustment.
Amazing. Yeah, I think this kind of speaks a lot to what we've been working a lot with here at Nakano, is to let perfectionism go away a little bit and be a little bit kinder to ourselves and enjoy the process rather than being strict that it has to look perfect, be perfect, and things like that. So amazing insights. So we would like to know, what was the biggest challenge in this process?
Yeah, so except for having to complete them every week and read the new chapter, it was to finally come to answer the questions I was avoiding. Because the reason why it takes us a long time sometimes is that we come across a question that may be a very positive question. For example, if you could have anything, or if money wasn't a question, how would your world look like? What would your dream life be? And a lot of people get stuck there because it could be painful, it could be difficult to imagine such a world. And it could be also, if you have all the possibility, then, you really need to make a choice now. It's kind of putting you in this spot of having to choose and having to kind of come to terms with how it could be and with your own ability. And then I think, just actually bringing myself to answer those questions that I would rather avoid maybe, or maybe not even consciously avoid, but something that we just do because that's how it works. And so that was the hardest thing. And that's, I think, the thing I'm most proud of is, like a week took me a month to complete, but I did complete it and I did not drop that question that posed difficulty.
So you, even though it was like a tough question, you decided to face it and just get it. That's amazing. That's like a very good advice, I think. And speaking on advices, like a lot of people ask us like how can I start, or like where can I start, or like how can I do it? But I think you also already gave us a lot of good advice. But do you have any advice for people who would like to try it out, to go through this artist way process with the book?
Yes, do it your own way. Do it the way that brings you joy and focus only on that. For example, in the beginning, I was really, I found out about this and I was like, all these people are vlogging it, they're blogging, they're doing it week by week, they're sharing. And that's a huge amount of work to do, to read it, to complete the tasks, to read the next chapter, to edit yourself for the online, and to post it and manage. This is so much to manage. So just focus on why you're wanting to do it and be present with the theme of each week.
Okay.
And then just give yourself the grace of failing, I guess. Yeah.
And grace of failing is very good. Yeah. So you can feel like you've been enjoying this process, even though it's been tough, right? Because you're working on the artist way in your journal, and that is kind of becoming your journal practice. So is that like the only way you're working with paper and pens these days, or is it kind of taking up all that space that you have for it, or are you doing something else?
Well, that's a really interesting question. Yeah, so ever since I started Morning Pages, I kind of stopped journaling in my main journal. But if I do want to journal more than once in a day, I do it in my big journal. Okay. But I am thinking of when I do complete the 12 weeks, I will move the Morning Pages and adjust them to the big journal. Okay. so that they're kind of becoming now a part of my life, and they're just becoming every daily pages rather than morning pages. But I do find that it is very beneficial to do them actually in the morning. It's like pre-meditation if you do meditate, or post-meditation. It doesn't have to matter in that way, but it just it's also interesting to have a map of what are you bringing to the day, what are you waking up with every day.
I think also because I have a son, and many people ask me like, how do you make time for journaling, and especially if it's something like this. And I've been trying this out to just wake up a little bit earlier and doing this process. And yeah, it's just about making the time. It's kind of tough, but it's really good. So before we wrap this up, we have one final task to do. So we're going to do like rapid questions, or like quick fire questions for, So morning pages, love or hate?
Love. It's not an easy relationship.
Okay. Artist Day, did you do it last week?
Yes, so I've done it every week. And then the last date I've done was a morning sunrise walk by the cliffs, which here in Iceland is not that impressive because it's around 10 a.m., but still it was very beautiful.
But that's a good advice though. So one word that sums up your experience?
Transformative.
Wow, that's very good. So one tip for staying consistent?
Give yourself grace.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. This has been so informative to learn about it. And I love to see how creative you are with your stationery tools. And, this is what I think traveler notebooks, they offer people. They just adjust to your life. I mean, my journal is now like 12 years old. It's gone through a lot of phases of my life and changed with me. So yeah, it's been so nice to see.
Yeah.
Thank you. Tack för det.
Tack för det. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.